Hey guys, Shaman Marcia here. And I wanted to give some updates on the assassin altar that I integrated into Chris Moore. If you don't know his story, go back and check out my other podcasts. I cannot continue to repeat it. Um, he will be a big SSP personality coming online very soon. So, when I integrated this SSP personality, I was shocked and amazed to find him come into Chris as a completely separate being. Although I had always seen the bleed through of this personality very, very strongly, at times more strongly than the original personality, many times. I would say I knew this alter's personality more than I knew Chris because I was constantly working with him. So, since he integrated in Chris, um, once I brought him back and he integrated in the core personality, and once Chris opened up and let him in, because that is a big part of the process when you have alters. The core personality has to let those alters in, or they cannot come in fully. They do. The core personality controls the body. So once he came in and I saw this whole new being, it shocked the hell out of me. I was like, what? So the guy I integrated is now standing before me in the body. And the original consciousness has moved to the back to heal. Short version. Anyway, it's crazy. Go check out the story if you don't know it. So I would start from my earliest videos, which were before we even integrated this altar, and go all the way up to where we are now. And you'll get a tiny fraction of what happened, but it's a lot of info. So, um, once this personality integrated, there were some key differences that I started noticing, and I was like, whoa. So, I wanted to break down the differences in Mike the Assassin Alter that just jumped forward in the personality as a full personality with the SSP experiences, and Chris, the original consciousness. Um, okay, so this is what's been blowing my mind. Since he popped forward, all of a sudden, Chris, who hates water, hates it. It feels like needles on his skin. Absolutely despises taking a shower. He'll he cannot stand it, and he'll put it off a lot. I mean, he'll hoe bath it, but but that he hated it. Mike loves the water, and the assassin altar, he loves the water, and he has to have a shower every single day, and so that was one difference I noticed. Um, Chris's body's super crazy, insanely sensitive. Like the most sensitive person I've ever seen in my lifetime, a gazillion. Like it's crazy how sensitive his body and everything is. Like you can just touch Chris's skin like that, and he's got chills everywhere, and he's going, like he can't stand it. He can't stand to be touched. He can't stand things touching him. Like he's just, yeah. But Mike, the assassin alter that just integrated, um, his body's not sensitive at all. Like you can do the same thing to him, and he just sits there. The only time he gets that sensitivity is when Chris has pushed through hard. For instance, if there's something emotional going on to him, upsetting, he will push through in the personality. He's pushed through to protect Mike once, which is crazy. Stuff's blowing my mind, but it's so cool. Um, Chris smokes, vapes constantly, like me, constantly. Mike, the assassin alter, he does not hardly vape. So that's been interesting. Um, Chris's psychic abilities are faster. They're a lot faster. I can just walk by Chris and go, "Hey, what do you feel about blah blah blah?" And he'll spit me out the answer like that, and it will always be right. The assassin alter, although he says his abilities are stronger, they're different. He says they're stronger because he had the training in the SSP, and then also his uh, his DNA and everything was altered. So he is stronger psychically, but he's much slower. He has to stop and meditate. Where Chris never had to do that. It was just like that. So that's been interesting. And what's crazy is Mike didn't even know that Chris always scans my stuff and checks everything out before I make a move. And so that wasn't being done, and some things crept in. I was like, oh my God. He didn't know. There's a lot of holes in his memory, like a lot. Like, one of the things I noticed that was really shocked me was my little dog Bay is always walking with us in Lowe's with no leash. He has for 4 years, and Chris loved that. That was just something we would go do, is just go walk around with my dog loose in Lowe's, and he'll just follow us. And I went out with Mike recently to Lowe's, and I had Bay loose like I always do, and he looked down and he goes, "Does your dog always walk with you like that?" And I was like, 4 years of that memory that I thought would be kind of solid, he had zero memory of. And I was like, oh. So I have had to spend a lot of time filling in the blanks on things that I wasn't sure if he knew or not. Now I have to literally check everything. Another thing I've noticed is Chris had to be cleared constantly. Like, he could blink an eye and something's jumping on him. Mike doesn't. I don't have to clear my like I had to clear Chris. So that's another really key, interesting difference. Um, Chris is clumsier. Mike's not clumsy. Chris is clumsy. That boy is falling over everything. um, Chris is incredibly emotional. He is the most emotional person I've ever met. Mike has zero emotion. So something really upsetting happened recently, and Chris came through so hard that he was crying through Mike. Mike was crying tears, and he said, "Do you see this?" He said, "This is Chris bleeding through right here." And I was like, "Whoa." So really interesting. Um, they both have a hairline trigger. um, Chris says Mike is messier, but I beg to differ. I think Mike's a lot neater. Um, I don't know. I could be wrong. Um, some things are, I'm still waiting to see. Chris is constantly apologizing and explaining, like, endlessly. And he cares so much about the people he loves. He will follow them around and go, "Are you okay? Are you happy? Is something bothering you?" And it's like endless. And you're like, ah! Um, that was Chris 24/7. Uh, Mike does not do that. He does not apologize. He'll explain some, but he's not repetitive like Chris. A little bit on some things, but not nothing like Chris. So that's been interesting. Um, uh, Chris is always stressed and anxious, just a stressed out mess. Always just like you could see he's just far away. He's always just far away. He's just so stressed. It's like, what? Mike, calm. He's just calm and fun. The assassin altar is fun, calm and fun. So, what's really been blowing my mind is lately the assassin altar, Mike. His name is Mike. I have to say that because he gets upset. My name is Mike. um, he wants to be seen as Mike, not Chris. So, I've been having to get that in my head because to me, he's always going to be Chris. But it's weird. It's so weird. So, yeah. So lately, I've been getting like really upset and stressed out because a lot of shit's been going on. And the assassin altar is calming to me. He calms me down. He'll go, "Now listen, da 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 da," and he'll start talking really slowly. And I'm like, whoa. And he's like, no, I had to do this in the field. I had to do this in the SSP when somebody was about to blow. I'm really good at calming people down. They're about to blow. And I was like, that's awesome. Yes. So it's really funny that the assassin altar keeps calming me down. That's just hilarious to me. So, um, another thing is Chris is the worst procrastinator in the freaking world. He is so, oh my God, he's such a procrastinator. He hides and doesn't want to deal with anything. Mike is completely opposite. He is get it done. And I'm like, ooh, who is this guy? And he's just been coming in here like, all right, the body, we're going to do this, this, and this. We're going to get Chris on the CPAP machine that he should have been on years ago and fought me tooth and nail every single night. Mike's like, I got the CPAP. I'm sleeping good now. He's like, taking care of business. He's like grabbing onto the finances, straightening all that out, straightening all this private life stuff. And I'm like, you're awesome. He's like getting everything done, everything knocked out. Oh my God, it's awesome. So he's been so freaking helpful to Chris. It's so interesting to watch. You know, you think these officers coming in are like, oh, there's some scary thing, but no, he had actually saved Chris's ass in so many ways. It is so crazy. So, another thing. Yeah, so as I was saying, Chris is awful with money, like awful. Mike is excellent with money. So he's fixing everything. It's like freaking amazing. And once Chris saw how much he was helping his life, he was like, okay, I'm good. I can sleep now. And so I find that really interesting because um, Mike was explaining to me that when one personality like goes to sleep, that's basically what it's like. It's like they go in a dream state. But he said memories will be recorded like a movie. So he said Chris is in there fixing himself. He said Chris can literally take something that happened and forward and rewind it, replay it like a movie. And I was like, whoa, that's cool. But it could be bad because knowing Chris, he's in there with something negative, freaking out about something. So anyway, Chris was always stressed, fearful, and angry. Always stressed, fearful, and angry. Mike is calm. He can get angry, but and I have seen that, and that was interesting. His whole face changes. It is so crazy. His whole face changes. I was literally looking at Mike upset the other day, and I was like, I was just looking at his eyes like this, and I just was like realizing I don't even recognize your face. Like your face is completely different. Chris's face has always changed from day one. I've always wondered what was up with that. It's really interesting. But when this personality comes through, and especially when he's upset, his face totally changes. I'm like, whoa. One key difference that I found was so interesting is like from his side profile, Mike has a very pronounced underbite. Chris doesn't. That's interesting. And also, as I've said on other podcasts, they have different bodies. Mike is in here drinking milk. Chris would not touch milk. Milk tore his stomach up, but doesn't tear Mike's up. It's so interesting. They have different allergies. Mike has the coconut allergy. So the coconut allergy that Chris always had actually came from Mike. He told me that today. I was like, wow, that's cool. So they have different allergies. And a lot of things in the body they share, but a lot of things are very different in the body. And even the body itself reacts differently to them. It is so freaking bizarre. My mind is so blown. Um, okay. They both have very large, powerful energy. They both are. Man, when they integrate, that is a being that would blow everyone's mind. Um, those two together, I mean, they already seriously alone are absolute powerhouses. Together, wow. Like, I can't wait to see that. But I'm thoroughly enjoying the separate um, personalities because Mike it's so exciting to have this entity that I integrated, this being that I integrated right out of the SSP standing right before me, able to tell me all this information about how he experienced my techniques and things I did and what it was like coming in. And he said that when he first came in, he told me that we had accidentally cut him off trying to fix the problem. We have done it, I know, 3 times. We kept cutting Mike off. We didn't mean to, we didn't know what was going on. We were just trying to stop the ritual, the the attacks. And the first time he got cut off from us was this reader I went to trying to find him answers because they were trying to kill him. She told me he needs to put on this necklace. I came home and put that necklace on him. He started freaking out. And I was like, whoa. And finally, he told me, I can't wear this necklace. And I was like, okay. And I sat around the house for a while. And then I realized, this thing's probably got really bad energy. I need to go bury it. Sometimes I just can't feel stuff. Like sometimes I feel things to the max, and sometimes I don't feel anything. And I don't even know what shifts. I don't know why I'm like that. Maybe I got altars that create something like that. I have no idea because I have zero memories. It was seen that I was in. It was seen I integrated all my altars, but I don't have memories like everybody else. So that's interesting. So, and then, and then, I took that necklace and I buried it in the ground. And then I started feeling instantly better. And I was like, whoa, this thing was evil. I didn't bury like salt and, you know, good things with it and stuff like that. So I went to just pull the ground off where I could put that stuff in there. And the minute I did, this huge branch came slamming down on my car behind me, about 25 feet behind me. Said, well, bam! From this big ass tree over here. I was like, whoa. And so I quickly like buried that again and had the earth absorb that. But that was crazy. Um, that was the first time we cut him off. Second time we cut him off is when uh, Chris felt so guilty about the things he had been doing, he ripped off his pain body. Now, I thought this pain body would kind of comprised half of him. But come to find out, and I now realize, there were 3: Chris, Mike, and the pain body. The pain body was the biggest asshole you ever met in your life. His pain body from this lifetime and the torture he received was so enormous that it was like a demonic entity. And it did. Our beliefs become reality. We create these things in the astral all the time. So this pain and trauma that he had stored in there from his whole life was this enormous, scary entity. And it hated me and it hated Mike and it fought both of us. When he had pancreatitis, it punched forward as a protector personality and it kept Mike away and it kept me away, which almost ended up killing Chris. Um, and the third time he got cut off is when we finally removed all the rituals. Um, so 3 different times I've had to punch back into Mike. When I punch into him, I would burst into tears instantly. And then when I would stay in meditation long enough, I would start seeing him and seeing the buildings he was in and seeing them torture and abuse him and seeing him fly. I saw him go rogue. I saw him wake up like this. I was sending meditation so hard, so hard, so hard, and I saw him go like that. And then he went rogue and he started fighting them. And I stayed with him and cast protection over him while he was doing this. And then I covered him really good through that day. And then that night when I fell asleep, they got him. I finally punched back through and I got Mike. And what happened was I didn't, we undid the rituals and we integrated everything we could. And then we went and got it checked by Christy Campbell. That's the first podcast I posted was hers, where it was a private reading we were going to find out if we had gotten all the altars. And she said, "You got them all but Mike." And I said, "I got him. I'm going to go back in and get him." Then I describe in my other podcast that amazing experience of integrating Mike. It was so cool. And then, uh, God, y'all, I just lost my train of thought, and I do that a lot. Sorry about that. Um, so Mike, I was explaining Mike. Um, that final time when I punched back through, I was able to pull him in, and I had to hold him to the side while we figured out what to do with the pain. That is another thing too. Chris had always seen this altar when he would close his eyes. He would see this altar, and he had seen that Mike had gotten in a wreck on a mission on a dirt bike or a motorcycle or something like a dirt bike, and he hurt his leg. He broke his femur. And when I was trying to integrate Mike into Chris, when I that day that I did it, every time I would pull him close, Chris's leg would fire up in pain really, really bad. And I would have to hold Mike to the side and say, "Hold on, let me push that pain back." And then I'd get it calmed down again. And then I would start to pull him in again. Same thing would happen. And I was like, "Mike, I've got to figure out how to do this." And then yeah, I tell that whole story. And then I had to do some stuff to it. Anyway, you had to go back and listen to my podcast. I'm just trying to tell you guys, if you don't know the story, like kind of sum it up a little bit. Anyway, um, so Mike, damn, there was something I was going to tell you about Mike that was really different than Chris. I have noticed too that Mike will lay a different way on the bed when I go do energy work on him than Chris. Chris lays one direction, Mike always lays the other. And I started noticing that. I'm like, wow, that's cool. It's just little things like that, you know. Chris apparently, when he was in the SSP, they've both been in the SSP. I know that Mike has had 6 tours, is what he told me. He thinks that Chris has had 6 as well, but I or him have to ask Chris because they have separate SSP memories. And I don't know what that turns into when they integrate. Like, does that turn into one big giant mess of memories, or does it are they compartmentalized? These were Mike's and these were Chris's. And I know in Chris and Mike's case, they could compartmentalize it, right? You know, but I'm not sure if that works for everybody. I just know that Chris and Mike are really powerful in every way, like very, like insanely. So, uh, Chris, when he was in SSP, was more um, like in the water. He was he was in the water all the time. Mike was on the land and in the air all the time. He was the pilot. So when I would see that pilot bleed through and that military look and the weapons and stuff like that, the military attire, that was always a Mike bleed through. But Chris himself is actually quite preppy in the way he dresses. So you got a big clash there. You got preppy one day and very military one day, or pilot, or just tactical, or it's weird. So yeah, they have their different styles there, and so that was always a bleed through of Mike. So interesting to see them as a blended being, and then to have Mike be cut out of the personality. So here's how it worked. Check this out. There were 3, like I told you: Chris, Mike, Pain Body. We'll just call him asshole. It's a better term for Pain Body. So Mike, great guy. Chris, great guy. So here's how it worked. I watched Chris in the beginning when I met him be a blended being of all these personalities. Okay. Then I watched as we accidentally removed Mike. Okay. So it was just Chris and the asshole. And that was awful for about 2 year and a half at least, maybe 2. I know at least a year and a half. So then I watched Chris when he felt so bad about what an asshole he was being, ripped the pain body off. Don't even know how he did it. Don't even know how he did it. I'm shooting a bird, y'all. Check that shit. I didn't mean to do that. We'll do those finger instead. So you just got Chris left. So I got to see Chris with just him in the asshole. And then I got to see just Chris, no asshole. So when it was just Chris, no asshole, he was really struggling. He was bogged down with a lot of really dense dark stuff from this lifetime and SSP. And then on top of it, he had no protector parts because Mike and the pain body were his protector parts. So he started to crumble. Then I brought Mike back in the picture. And at first, Chris wouldn't let him in. Then I told him, you need to let him in. He let him in, and I saw a blend. And then Chris said, he's got it, I'm out. When he saw that Mike could handle it, and Mike said, I got it, he said, well, I'm going in to heal. Now I see only Mike. I've never seen only Mike. I've never met only Mike. Mike has these amazing SSP memories. They both do, but they're different. And Mike's is fresh, boy. It's like, bam, I just came out of the military and this is what my life was like. And I'm like, whoa, I know you as a blend in a personality. I don't know you as a separate SSP memory. So on one level, it's so seamless. But on another level, it is so not because there's holes in the memory, like I told you. Lots and lots and lots of holes. So where all the important things stuck, the big things, the emotional things, the big deals, the little details are lost. So trying to navigate a job when you don't know the details and the other part of the personality said, well, you got it, I'm out. Poor Mike. I feel so bad for Mike and I'm trying so hard to help him because he's like being absolutely amazing right now. He is like, I got this. And I'm like, wow. But anyway, so Chris is a very fast, intense talker, extremely fast. And Mike is a slow, calm talker. So I'm trying to think if there are any more. Those are key differences I've noticed for sure. Um, Even the animals react differently to the two. It's really interesting to watch. So the only issue that we have at all from integrating Mike, which has not been an issue, but it is something of concern, is assassin alters have been trained to get dopamine spikes when they take someone out. This is what Luke Crichton had explained to me, which he gave me permission to share his information, minus one thing. And I did a podcast, or he did a podcast. He did two for me that are on this channel. But he explained to me that these assassin alters, they develop very high dopamine spikes when they take someone out. And I have seen that excitement in him. He'll talk about it and he'll be like, oh, I love blah, blah, blah. I love doing that. You can see the excitement. You can see that dopamine spike. And although he knows that he cannot be doing it, it's still a trigger that needs to be dissolved. So that is something. We have other things that are more pressing right now, but that is definitely something that we're going to shut down. So uh, one of the next things I have to work on. So what's really crazy and bizarre is when you have worked on. So, for instance, I always meditated over Chris to Mike. So I would push through Chris to Mike in meditation. Now I meditate over Mike to Chris to heal him in there. And what's so cool is when I do that, like if I'm pushing through to Chris through Mike, Mike feels the peace that Chris is feeling, and he starts to feel, ah, Even though I'm sending it to Chris, Mike still feels it like I'm sending it to him. So they're exactly the same in some things or very similar. And then on other things, I'm going, who are you? It's super cool. And I always tried to pull Mike into this world. So that is nuts. Because I did. I used to imagine him being here in front of me, like a lot. And wow, it came true. So mind blown. But you know, you guys have to understand that Chris and Mike are really putting their asses out here on the line to give this information to y'all. It could come back to haunt him in a million different ways. But he is so bold and so brave to want to share this with you guys. Um, because he wants to help you guys. There's a lot of you guys out there. If y'all have things going on that's wrong, it's always going bad and you can't figure out why, and no matter what you do, like bad things just keep happening, you've probably got these rituals on you and you need to get them removed or at least get checked for them. So anyway, yeah, we just want to give you all the information so that some of you guys, when you bring in your altars, a lot of you are not going to have such severe reactions. But Chris was deep into it, so his altar is uh, that's something. It's very glaring in your face how this process works. So I'm able to give it y'all. Y'all probably have a watered down version of what he has going on. Some of you, not all of you. Sometimes these altars integrate just smoothly and seamlessly, and most of the time they do. But in this situation, what the hell? It's almost making me wonder like, is like I don't, like is every um DID or split personality person, is every one of those. I know a lot of that comes from trauma, but so much of it is coming from altars. You know, it's altars. It actually is another being. It's the most weirdest shit I've ever seen. Like, I, I don't know. I play 20 questions with them all the time. I drive them crazy. But anyway, yeah, those are the key differences I've noticed so far. So, what a freaking journey. What a trip. I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's had such heartbreak, but it's had such high highs as well. It's been amazing, scary, terrifying, um, wonderful, mind blowing, magical. Like, our journey is just, it'll rip you to shreds and then rebuild you. So, it was a very rough journey. And I can't wait to keep doing more podcasts and get it where I pull out my notes from my journals that I've kept through all of this and start breaking a lot of this down on my channels of the very deep processes that Chris went through, um, and Mike during all of this. So I can't wait to share all that. And lots more coming on my channel. So you guys have an awesome night and love you.